Hi, I'm Tony Nichols, and welcome to Chamber Chat. Hi, I'm Tony Nichols, and welcome to Chamber Chat, a program put together by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce for the sole purpose of keeping you informed on what's going on at the Chamber of Commerce. Joining us today in the first segment of the program is Kathy Thomas, one of the membership managers with the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Good morning, Tony. Thank you for having us.
The membership division sounds like it's easy enough to understand just by the title in and of itself, but I think there's a little more that people might be aware that is labeled or that is categorized under the membership division. What is that?
That is true. The membership division actually oversees 3 different networks. Membership itself is in charge of recruitment and retention, which is pretty understandable. But our 3 divisions are the membership network, the ambassador network, and the young professionals.
Gotcha.
So they actually work to develop membership programs. They work to recruit, retain, including the young professionals, which was developed several years ago to recruit and assimilate young people into future leaders in our chamber.
Very cool. I think we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge how you got chosen to be on Chamber Chat rather than one of the co-chairs. Would you like to share with the audience why they're not here?
I'd be delighted to. One of our goals is to always put our members in the spotlight, not the employees. We have 2 who are leading our membership division, and that is Kim Gillis and Jamie Toner. Right. And they are doing their very, very best to recruit, retain, by growing the chamber. Each of these ladies had a baby last fall and is still out on maternity leave, so membership manager had to step in.
So that's called internal growth.
It is internal growth, absolutely.
And for future membership directors, that is not a requirement to grow the chamber internally. So just know that.
Doesn't hurt.
All the changes, I think on every Chamber Chat we've talked about in some form or fashion the changes that are going on at the Chamber of Commerce. How have those changes impacted the Chamber, and has it been a positive change to support membership?
Absolutely. I've known the Chamber for many, many years, been involved with them previously, and have seen the changes over the last year, year and a half, although it actually was a plan that was put in place probably 2 years ago. Sure. So although it all looks brand new, there's a great deal of back work that went into producing what we're doing. The Chamber has worked to realign their divisions and their networks and committees under that, making our purpose to serve the needs instead of just meeting monthly because we're to meet monthly. Right. We actually are focusing now on a lot of tangible assets for our members. Marketing member companies. We've got a lot of new ways of doing that. Everything from Chamber Chat to our blog, our website, sponsorship opportunities, although often that sounds like trying to raise funds for the Chamber, which obviously any business needs. It really is another way to find your market and where you need to be seen. Right. So we're fine-tuning what our members need.
Very cool. All right, here's the $64,000 question. I joined the Chamber. What is it that I can get involved in or with?
Do you have about 3 hours? We can answer that.
We'll condense it a little bit, but yeah, it's a pretty big topic.
Obviously, I've mentioned the networks and the committees. I believe you get involved where you have a business need, where your business might want to be seen, or where you have a personal passion. There are ways to become involved simply by attending events, being able to rub shoulders with businesses that you want to meet. General membership luncheon is still there, after hours, before hours. These are all different networking events. There are also outreach programs that we do, trainings, lunch and learns. Young professionals put on one a quarter at least, but those are open to the entire chamber. So there are a lot of opportunities that way, everything from a beautification committee to my ambassador committee. These are all opportunities, and probably many more.
9 years ago, when I arrived on the shore, I didn't know a soul. So what do you tell that person that has just arrived, or they've just not been, they're more of an introvert, they don't want to put themselves out there? How are they going to be received at an after hours? I don't know anybody, so I'm afraid to go to something like that.
Well, and even if you do know people in the community, it can be daunting when you walk in and you think everybody knows everybody and they're all talking amongst themselves. Right. And you become a wallflower even if you aren't. That's part of my ambassador committee's job, is to meet you, to greet you, to help you to meet the people you want to meet. Whether it means actually going with you to an event or simply finding somebody in the room that you want to speak to. We also work very hard to know what it is you're looking for, and then help you connect with them whatever way it takes. Whether it's seating you where you want to be at a general membership luncheon and introducing you to the people at the table.
Sure.
You know your product as a businessman, and having that open door to meet other people is what the ambassadors do for you.
Very cool. Are there any events coming up within the chamber that would tie into membership? I know they all tie into membership, but do. Anything that you can think of that would specifically support the membership division?
Yeah, actually we have coming up in January a new member reception. And it's really falsely titled, because although we invite all of the new members, it is open to any chamber member. You mentioned the one that has been a member but hasn't been involved. Right. It's a great way to come and meet other people, but also get a real honest-to-God breakdown of what the chamber has to offer, all the different networks. We have a Connect for Success coming up in March that we're very excited about. We did this back in 2009, and that is a way to market your business and meet other members. That is a whole morning, and it includes lunch, and it's lovingly called speed dating, but it's a chance for you to meet probably 80 other business people, and in 60 seconds tell them what you do.
I've been a part of that.
Yep.
It's a great tool to meet other people. All right, tell me why I need to join the chamber.
You know, that's the standard question I get asked, and I have to answer you honestly and say, I don't know exactly, because I don't know what you're looking for. It depends upon what your business needs. Are you looking for marketing? Are you looking for the networking? Are you looking to support the business community itself? Are you looking to make a difference in what our legislature is doing? What are your needs as a business person? Right. If I knew that, I could tell you exactly why to join. I think the best thing is to give us a call at the chamber, and we'll find out what you need.
Have the conversation.
And then we can tell you.
Very cool. Well, Kathy Thomas, thank you for joining us. You are always welcome back.
Thank you.
Up next, the new zoo director. But first, we'd like to give you an opportunity to take a look at the upcoming events with the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back to Chamber Chat. As promised, we have the new zoo director, Ralph Pylan. Ralph, welcome to Chamber Chat.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity for the zoo to visit with the chamber.
The zoo, going back to 9 years ago when I first arrived on the shore, our children were small, and the coolest thing about Salisbury, quite frankly, to us, was the fact that there was a zoo in Salisbury. Since then, I found out that there are a couple of unique things to the Salisbury Zoo that you might not find in other places. So could you tell us what some of those unique features are with the zoo?
I think the answer that comes to mind quickly is that the Salisbury Zoo is one of about 5 institutions across the country that are free of admission charges and free parking to guests.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It really is a unique resource. If you look beyond the financial characteristic, I think you might see that within this community there's a real commitment to make quality of life resources like the zoo fully accessible to everyone in the community. If you visit the zoo, you may see school groups doing a project, a family group out having a picnic, and even joggers running through following a jogging trail in the city park system. And they're all taking advantage of a community resource that's fully accessible. So in the end, I think the Salisbury Zoo is unique because it reflects the unique character of its community.
It's been around a little while.
It's been around 60 years in 2014. We're looking forward to a busy and productive year in 2014, celebrating that 60th anniversary. We hope to remind people in the community of the many successes of the Salisbury Zoo over those years, and to provide people an opportunity to maybe share some of their memories about visiting the Salisbury Zoo.
How long, many people also will likely not know that the zoo is an accredited zoo. How long has the zoo been accredited, and really what does that mean to the community as a whole?
The zoo's been accredited since the 1970s, and accrediting is managed primarily in this country by a group called the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, the AZA. And accreditation through them really reassures the community that its facility is being managed to national industry standards. And going through the accreditation process is really an opportunity for us to ensure that our policies and procedures are consistent with those best practices. And it's an opportunity to learn from other best practices that have been pioneered by other institutions across the country. And then once we're accredited, it really allows us entry into a collaboration process with other accredited zoos across the country. Populations of animals in zoos now are not usually managed unilaterally by an institution, but they're managed by groups that look at the diversity of the genetic makeup of that population and make decisions that are in the best interest of managing that population long term. So it gives us access to resources that otherwise we wouldn't have, and it allows us to participate at a national and an international level in important conservation programs.
I would also think it opens the door to have the ability to get animals to display that you might otherwise not have the ability to get your hands on.
That's correct. Zoo animals today are not animals generally that are brought in from the wild. They're animals that have been born in other zoos, and then those decisions are made where they should be placed for best impact on the population management. As an example, our new Andean bear that came in the spring of 2013 came from the National Zoo as part of a collaborative breeding program that we're hoping to follow up on here at the Salisbury Zoo.
Now, did I just hear breeding at the Salisbury Zoo? Is that?
That's correct, and the Salisbury Zoo's history actually reflects a lot of success with the Andean bear, which is a unique conservation focus. And we have an older male, young female. We're hopeful, and as we move forward, we'll do everything we can to get some young Andean bears here at the Salisbury Zoo.
Very cool. Any changes coming on? I know nothing ever happens at the zoo that needs to be fixed or repaired. It's just all clean and tidy as we all see it when we walk through the zoo. But what's coming up?
Well, we have a very important project going on right now. In 2014, we hope to complete construction of our new animal health clinic. And that represents a real facility step forward for the zoo that helps keep it consistent with those national best practices that we want to match. It'll allow us to provide the best possible quality of care to our living collection, and it's an important improvement for us.
Is that going to mean the addition of qualified staff to manage something like that?
We already have a vet tech on staff,
Okay.
and that person will be transferring over to that facility. It really gives us facilities to quarantine new animals when they come in. It gives us a sterile treatment and minor surgery suite that we haven't had before. In the past, when a surgical procedure was needed for the male Andean bear, it had to be done in the exhibit out in the open rather than in an appropriate facility.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so we will be moving past those types of situations and I think into a really state-of-the-art facility
More
that will be
secure.
great for the zoo.
Okay, it's time to pull out the crystal ball. Ralph Pilen, new zoo director, looks into the future. What's in store for the Salisbury Zoo?
Well, I've been fortunate to have a lot of wonderful experiences in the zoo world through my career, and hopefully it's given me some perspective to help make decisions about what we can do to continue the successful history of the Salisbury Zoo. But what's really important, I think, is the crystal ball for the Salisbury community and not just for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think success for the Salisbury Zoo will be measured when it meets the expectations of the community, the children in the community, rather than just my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the zoo, we're working very hard to make sure that we are sensitive to and understand those expectations within our community. That's the goal that we want to meet as the zoo moves forward.
Ralph, we'd like to thank you for joining us on Chamber Chat. Are there any parting words that you'd like to leave us with as it relates to the zoo?
No, we'd love to have everyone come visit the zoo. I think there'll be a lot happening in 2014, and it's a free community resource that everyone can take advantage of. So please do.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Ralph.
Thank you for having us.
We'd like to give you one more opportunity to take a look at the upcoming events with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back to Chamber Chat. We have a distinct honor in the show today. We have the first guest of Chamber Chat, now our first repeat guest of Chamber Chat, Dr. Memo Derricker, Director of Beacon. Welcome back.
My pleasure to be here.
Memo, what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about our upcoming economic forecast on January 16 at UMES.
All right, well, the obvious question is, tell us what the economic forecast is.
Well, this is something we've been doing now for 22 years. We take the middle of the month of January, when the holiday activities are coming to an end, and we take an in-depth look at what's going to happen in our economy, in the nation, in the state, in our region, and locally in the coming year.
All right, tell our viewers why that's an important peak.
Well, this is the time of the year when the plans for the first, second, and third quarters are made. And the more information we have from knowledgeable people, the more information we have from our peers in our industries, the better those decisions are going to be. In addition, we want to take a look at what happened during the fourth quarter, which for some of our chamber members is the most important quarter of the year, and compare what happened to what is going to be happening to be better informed.
I think it's very instrumental to know where you've been because that is a pretty good indicator of what's going.
Exactly.
Unless there are major changes in a business or the economy, that's a pretty good indication of where we're going.
Absolutely.
I know the majority of what we want to talk about today, or what you want to talk about, is really the format and some of the speakers that we're going to have at the Economic Forecast this year. Would you like to speak to those?
Absolutely. This year we have an incredible array of speakers lined up, panel members lined up. And one of the things we are looking forward to is the Maryland General Assembly session will be starting, will have started by then.
That's right.
It will have been going on for about a week. And for the following 3 months, what is going to happen in Maryland at the General Assembly, given that we do have a $500 million structural deficit. This is a very interesting juxtaposition because the economy is picking up,
Sure.
yet the state's fiscal situation is not.
Right.
So how is that going to play? Just as we have all the leading economic indicators looking up, suddenly the state expenditures are going to have to be cut back. While there's good value in cutting back those expenditures on the shore, since a majority of our economic activity depends on those expenditures, we're going to have to adjust for those. So we designed the format of the economic forecast. We invited the panelists with that in mind. And something we're doing a little bit different this year, we're not asking our panelists to stand up and speak to us. We're actually inviting them, asking them to sit at the table and answer our questions.
Sure.
So it's not just what they think we want to hear, it is actually what we indeed want to hear that they will be speaking to.
Well, going back to the comments from our inaugural show, that's how you become relevant.
Exactly.
It's not me telling you what I think you need to hear, but it's me addressing what concerns you might have.
Because no end of advanced preparation is going to tell our panel member what our membership actually wants to hear better than what our membership can tell them on the day of the event. And that's the way we've designed it this year.
Sure. I have a little cheat sheet, and I happen to know the first segment is business and technology. Can you speak to maybe some of the panelists or the topics that may be speaking to?
Absolutely. I have my own cheat sheet as well, although I'm a little more technologically advanced than you are.
Yes, you are.
One of the interesting things we're looking at is we're not looking at just the business trends, but we're looking at how technology is going to inform those trends. So we've asked Justin Kelly from Impact Technology to come over. And this particular panel is interesting because Steve Hammond from WBOC TV will be moderating it. And using the questions we will prepare and the audience will present, we will ask people like Justin about the technology and its importance in the way we do business and we're going to be doing business in the future. Also, of course, with the Affordable Care Act and all those other things that are happening in healthcare, which during the recession was our one and only growing industry sector, which is now having to adjust to the realities of the Affordable Care Act. We've invited Mike Robbins from the Maryland Hospital Association to answer some of our questions on that. On the other very big industry sector here, tourism, we've asked Donna Abbott from the Ocean City Tourism and Marketing Office, the director there, to come to talk to us about trends in tourism and what we expect in the shoulder season as well as in the peak summer season this coming year and how we can prepare for that.
Are the questions going to be, or how are we going to field the questions, or in terms of, is it going to be generally like the general membership luncheons where it's a card-based, or we're going to try to have some prepared questions, or do you feel like we may even take some spontaneous questions from the audience?
It will be a combination of the two. We are currently working with the panel members as well as our board of directors to ask the first question. We're asking the panel members, what questions do you think we should ask you? Based on their response, the board will ask the first question. Actually, there will be two questions, one generic question that all panel members will answer, and then one specific for each of the panel members. Then we will open up to the membership. Membership will be asked, the attending membership will be asked to fill out the index cards with their questions, and the moderator will then ask those questions.
Given the people that are generally in the room at these forecasts, I don't think we'll have a problem after that initial couple of questions. No. I'm pretty confident that we'll have more questions than we can answer.
Exactly. And that's where the moderator comes in. Moderator will look at the questions on the index cards, will combine the questions that are similar and maybe ask the most relevant question. The final panel member on that panel is Georgia Nichols. She's going to talk to us about the real estate and construction industries because finally that part of our sector, which was the hardest hit during the recession, is beginning to come back. Sure. And that's very, very important, just the way tourism is. All those construction activities that create jobs, we need to hear about that. And you know, this is the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Somebody asked me earlier, why are you bringing in Ocean City tourism? Majority of the business activity that happens year-round in Ocean City is done by companies headquartered in Salisbury.
Makes sense.
So what happens there is a derived demand for us. So that is why we want to hear how they're going to do. Our companies will be servicing that sector.
Makes complete sense to me. The second panel is regulatory trends, looks like.
You remember I mentioned that the General Assembly session is coming up, and there are a number of issues in addition to the structural budget deficit that we are tracking here on the shore. So we wanted to bring in experts from the government sector or dealing with the government sector and to tell us about what's going on, especially with this phosphorus tool issue that we have been discussing. So Kenny Bounds will be representing us, coming to our panel from Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit. And Buddy Hans, Maryland's Secretary of Agriculture, who has graciously agreed to be part of this panel. And this is a big thing because last time he was on the shore, he got attacked pretty badly.
Right.
For him to agree to come back is a wonderful thing.
Sure
so we
is.
appreciate and respect that. And Matt Holloway, president of our Wicomico County Council, will be representing the farm community to talk about these regulatory trends. And James McNaughton, Dr. McNaughton, will be our moderator.
Very good. We're about to run out of time, but I want to squeeze in the general membership luncheon is also taking place. Is there anything going to happen during that?
In fact, this is probably the most impactful component of what we're going to do. Our keynote speaker is going to be Peter Franchot, Maryland Comptroller. Our panel is a very exciting panel because the sky is the limit is the topic.
Sure.
Peter Bale from the unmanned aerial vehicle industry is going to come and talk to us. This is what's happening with Wallops Flight Facility. Liz Burdock is going to talk about the offshore wind that was announced this week, the farm that's going to be 80,000 acres that are going to be developed off 10 miles off the shore of Ocean City. And Katarina Enerfeld from Toroid is going to talk to us about the future of manufacturing on the shore. This is a very exciting luncheon, very impactful luncheon. If members cannot make the morning session, they need to be at the luncheon.
Certainly worth just making one or the other if you can't make both.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Memo Derricker, first guest, first repeat guest. We'll have to come up with something new for you to be the first at. Thanks for joining us on Chamber Chat.
My pleasure, always.
We'd also like to thank you for joining Chamber Chat. And as always, if you've missed any episodes or have any thoughts or views, we welcome you to contact the Chamber of Commerce viewing past episodes on the Chamber's blog, The Voice. We also encourage you to visit PAC 14's website to view this edition and any previous editions of Chamber Chat utilizing their on-demand feature. Well, that's a wrap for this edition of Chamber Chat. As always, we encourage you to make a difference.